Ghost Month is supposedly when spirits roam free, but somehow the real haunting this season is my watch list, because the BL world decided now was the perfect time to drop about a dozen shows at once. In this video, we're tackling 13 ongoing series I'm currently juggling, complete with my unfiltered thoughts, mild chaos, and the emotional damage each one is causing in real time. If I somehow missed a title and knowing this genre right now, I probably did. Drop it in the comments so I can suffer through one more. Without further ado, let's get started. First on our list, this Japanese BL series. A guy just wants to fulfill one very specific fantasy and instead walks straight into his future CEO boss at a job interview the morning after. This Japanese BL has no business being this entertaining, with a title that makes me want to whisper instead of say it out loud in public. The 16-year age gap between Shosakai and Kimisawa Yuki actually works in the story's favor, giving the chemistry a believable weight instead of the usual they just met and are already soulmates nonsense. 13-minute episodes shouldn't hit this hard, but between the workplace tension and the comedy timing, I'm somehow fully invested in a story I can't say the title of with a straight face. 5 episodes in and no verdict yet, obviously, but so far this is silly, steamy, and weirdly well put together in a way only Japanese BL manages to pull off. Next on our list, Duty First Kiss Later. 2 episodes in, and Shiono already went from stone-faced rule follower to confesses feelings by sabotaging Takoi's blind date and kissing him, which is either a bold move or a workplace HR violation. But either way, Duty First, Kiss Later has my full attention. A rural police station where nobody's solving actual crimes and everyone's just bickering and living next door to their crush is exactly the kind of cozy chaos I didn't know I needed from a cop BL. Takoi's kind-hearted, tipsy 40-something detective energy, paired against Shiono's stiff, jealous younger officer vibe, is giving enemies to neighbors to lovers in the best way, and the age gap somehow doesn't feel forced at all. 2 episodes is nowhere near enough to call this one yet, but if the writers keep the banter this sharp, I'm fully signing up for whatever mess these two get into next. Adding to the list, your third. MaxNat has never really been my pairing, so going into your third I was fully prepared to feel indifferent, but 2 episodes in, their chemistry is genuinely catching me off guard. The island set enemies to lovers setup, with Jam going way above and beyond for his boss Sib, has enough intrigue to keep me hooked, even though the humor doesn't always land and that first episode dragged more than it needed to. It's not perfect, but there's something about the lead's dynamic that's slowly winning me over despite myself. Not a MaxNat convert just yet, but this one's actually got me curious to see where it goes. Also on our list, Match Point. I went into Match Point expecting standard rivals to lovers filler, and while it's not reinventing anything, 2 feuding dim sum families and their tennis-playing sons already have decent chemistry building between them. Tesho Ping's tension works even if the pranks felt repetitive and that flash-forward opening didn't need to happen, and honestly, the whole attraction disguised as rivalry formula still works on me every single time. 2 episodes in isn't enough to fully judge, but the setup has me curious rather than skeptical at this point. If the chemistry keeps escalating like this, I could easily see myself hooked by episode 4. The 5th spot on our list, The Edge of Horizon. 7 episodes into The Edge of Horizon, and I've fully accepted that Ongsa and In's eyes are doing more emotional damage to me than the actual palace politics, easily making this one of the best BLs airing right now and a strong contender for best release of the entire year. The yearning, the forbidden servant prince dynamic, the way this show trusts silence and longing looks over dialogue. It's rare for a historical BL to balance that much romance with real social stakes and still land every beat. That said, 4 episodes is a lot of runway left for a story built entirely on tension and class conflict, and how the writers handle the king's reaction, the parents, and this sin framing will make or break whether the payoff matches the buildup. I'm rooting hard for these two, but my final verdict is staying firmly on hold until I see how it sticks the landing. Up next we have Class Crush Crisis. 2 episodes into Class Crush Crisis, and I'm getting real Bad Buddy and my school president vibes. mostly thanks to actors who actually look and act like teenagers instead of 30-year-olds cosplaying high school. That said, a friend group of guys casually whiteboarding strategies to get a girl to date, one of them is giving me secondhand cringe rather than the intended comedy, and the classic be a jerk to the person I like trope is already doing its predictable thing. The convenient inconvenience setup where two people who barely tolerate each other keep getting stuck together is playing out exactly as expected, but somehow it's still funny every time. 2 episodes in, I'm cautiously optimistic rather than sold, so we'll see if this one earns its spot or fizzles out by episode 4. Continuing down the list, A Winter Sun wakes the wind in Spring Hill's dream. Somehow, this T-Mountain slow burn between a burnt-out celebrity and a quietly guarded local has flown almost entirely under the radar, and 13 episodes in, I'm convinced A Winter Sun Wakes the Wind in Spring Hill's Dream deserves way more hype than it's getting. The cinematography alone does emotional heavy lifting most BLs never even attempt, using locations and lighting to mirror exactly what the leads are too repressed to say out loud, and the dialogue trusts silence and subtext the way few dramas actually pull off well. No dubbing, raw acting, genuine chemistry, and a slow build that rewards patience instead of rushing to explicit scenes. This is proof that restraint can hit just as hard as heat when it's done right. If you've been sleeping on this one, consider this your official wake-up call because it's criminally underrated and deserves a much bigger seat at the table. The 8th spot on our list, Don't Be Too Emotional, 6 episodes in, and Don't Be Too Emotional has split the fandom right down the middle, half convinced this is the best psychological uni-BL of the year, and half deeply uncomfortable with how casually the show treats some genuinely disturbing content. T-Heng's chemistry and that walking red flag energy from Big Jane are pulling viewers in hard, with the mystery and slow burn tension winning over even people burnt out on university BL tropes. But that same intrigue comes packaged with intimate partner abuse, non-consensual scenes, and manipulation played almost too lightly, leaving several viewers uneasy rather than swooning. It's easy to see why this one's dividing opinions so sharply: gorgeous production and magnetic leads on one side, some real red flags about how the red flags are actually handled on the other. Following closely, we have Bittersweet Love. 9 episodes into Bittersweet Love, and I've fully accepted that this show is basically watching a poor country boy get sold into a rich family just to be humiliated for sport, and somehow I'm still tuning in every Friday like a masochist with a streaming subscription. The forbidden brother-in-law dynamic, the 90s period detail, and that slow burn tension between Xiaofan and Lu Qing are genuinely well done, which is exactly why the constant bullying and dark power imbalance keep drawing sharp lines in the fandom between toxic and messy on purpose, and this crossed way past dark drama into just uncomfortable. Not everyone's on board, and honestly, some of the criticism about the show equating suffering with romance is fair. But for those willing to stomach the angst, the chemistry and payoff moments are landing hard enough to keep them hooked. Messy, morally complicated, and clearly not for everyone, but this one's earning its bittersweet name either way. Adding to the list, Not. 5 episodes in, and I'm convinced Not had every ingredient for a great Omegaverse BL and somehow still managed to fumble the recipe entirely. Bodo's chemistry is real. The ABO premise had genuine potential, but between the weak world building, exposition dumps that make zero sense, and pacing so thin it could pass for a fanfic outline, the execution just isn't matching the promise. Even a soulmate bond and 2 assassination attempts by episode 5 couldn't distract me from how little actual character development is happening between the NC scenes. It's frustrating watching something with this much potential get buried under sloppy writing, and right now I'm holding on more out of hope than actual satisfaction. Moving on to our next BL series, Play Me. 15 minutes per episode sounds like a recipe for that cheap YouTube BL energy, but Play Me is surprisingly proving that theory wrong 2 episodes in. Jung Yi-hyun and Kang Jae-won's high school reunion setup, complete with an old misunderstanding and years of drifted apart pining, is hitting genuine emotional beats through some well-placed flashbacks instead of rushing straight to the romance. The chemistry between the leads already feels comfortable rather than forced, which is honestly rare for a show working with such a tight runtime. 2 episodes is way too early to hand out a final verdict, but if it keeps this pacing up, this short little series might just sneak up on people. The 12th spot on our list, Your Sky. I went into episode 1 bracing for the usual cheaper, shorter, sadder energy Japanese remakes tend to have, and instead got something that actually stands confidently on its own. Ayuta's Hinata nails that warm, innocent charm instantly. Ishin's Sora balances cold and soft in a way that already sells the fake relationship setup. And the small changes from the Thai original, like that piggyback home scene against a city skyline, gave it its own identity instead of just copy pasting the source material. 1 episode in, and I'm already fully charmed. Easy pacing, natural chemistry, zero wasted scenes. If this keeps up, calling it just a remake might end up doing it a disservice. Last but not the least, Be My Player 2. Watching Maxki trade his usual chill, grounded energy for full, chaotic gremlin mode, opposite Bass's socially anxious, dragged into streaming by his friend's character, is such a fun swap that Be My Player 2 earns its cute, colorful charm almost instantly. On the plus side, the slow burn works, the comedy lands, and mixing animated gameplay with live-action mimicry is a genuinely creative way to make esports feel like it matters to the story instead of just being flashy background noise. On the downside, some viewers are already noting the show's playing it a little tame and safe by episode 2, leaning more into cute fluff than any real tension or stakes. 3 episodes deep isn't enough to fully judge the esports plotline's payoff, but so far, the chemistry and charm are carrying this one just fine. And those are the 13 ongoing BL series I'm currently juggling this August. At this point, I should probably put professional multitasker on my resume. But with this month's new lineup joining the chaos, I'm not sure if I'm watching BL series or if BL series are watching me collapse in real time. Which ongoing BL series are you also losing sleep over? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. That's it, and see you on the next one.